The following program is rated TV MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
They gave me my theme music!
This is a Planet Fanatix production.
What up, everybody? How's everybody doing tonight? Appreciate everybody coming back and hanging out with me again tonight. Sorry I wasn't live last night. Not really much last night, not really much tonight even to really go off of, but there are a few things that we are going to touch on. I'm here for a good time, but not a long time tonight. I'm here for a good time, but not a long time tonight. So I'll be hanging out with you guys for a little bit. We'll go over the things that are tagged and titled there. Obviously, one of the things we'll talk about, I think this was yesterday's news. I don't believe it was today's news. I think it was yesterday. Yeun, obviously, stepping away from Sentry because of scheduling conflicts. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about Katt Williams' most recent sit-down with Shannon Sharpe, but obviously not the entire sit-down. The entire sit-down is something to watch. If you have not watched that, that is something to watch. But we're going to talk about something that he touched on within that sit-down. Then we're also going to talk about the newest director, I forget her name, the newest Star Wars director, who made the statement that Star Wars, it is time for Star Wars to be shaped for it to be a woman-led galaxy, or however she said it. I'm not saying it word for word, but we'll get to that. Last thing that we'll talk about is going to be the Avengers 5 team as it currently is. Alex Perez over at the Cosmic Circus had put out a picture because someone had asked him who is the Avengers 5 team going to be in Avengers 5, and he had put out a picture just simply guessing of who he thought would be the Avengers 5 team, and then that picture has taken wings, and people are taking that, thinking that that is going to be the Avengers 5 team, and I mean, if it is, that would be the first Avengers team movie that will not sell, but we're going to talk about it all. Again, I appreciate everybody being here. Andre, where I see you, appreciate you being here. To Jinx, appreciate you being here. It's Shed, appreciate you being here. Naries21, appreciate you being here. Josiah Allen, I appreciate you being here. I haven't seen you in a while, so I definitely appreciate you being here. Appreciate you guys being here. It is just myself tonight. Corey just got back from from the cruise that she was on. So she is taking a day to recover from there. Q is still, working and everything like that. So he, I believe, is at work currently. But I'm here to hang out with you guys. Like I said, I'm here for a good time, but not a very long time tonight. So we're going to jump into this stuff now. Okay, so let's talk about the first thing here. And officially MGICU and their Raptor Club. Dark Star Menace, appreciate everybody being here. But we'll jump into the first thing here. The first thing here we're going to jump into is just going to be the news coming in from the MCU Direct. This is coming from the Direct. The news is coming from Daniel RPK. We're reading the article from the Direct here, where they go on to say Marvel Studios lost a major actor for one of the upcoming 2025 Phase 5 films. Recently, the MCU has been going through a lot of changes for a variety of reasons. Creative differences and massive delays caused by historic strikes, to name a couple. The multiversal saga just fired its Kang the Conqueror actor. Daredevil is getting a huge reboot. Blade is still getting rewrites, and more Marvel Studios just cannot catch a break. Yeun not starring in the Thunderbolts any longer. And as we know, before I get into the article, we'll go over just some of the things that we already did know about this. Would you believe me if I told you that at the very beginning of this, if you remember, if you take yourself all the way back to the very beginning of the Thunderbolts talk, and we covered that talk, because if you remember, Thunderbolts was originally one of my most anticipated. But if you take yourself all the way back, there was never a Sentry added into this film. Sentry was added later on. It wasn't until after Kevin Feige had done, if you remember this, let's take ourselves back a little bit. The entire Thunderbolts film was going to be a type of espionage type film, where it was going to be the Thunderbolts. You were going to have the roster that was shown, those Thunderbolts, that roster, but it was going to be them doing some type of government spy, Thunderbolts type shit. It wasn't going to be one overall villain. It was just going to show the team doing an espionage type of film. Sentry was not added until Kevin Feige went down, saw what was going on with the film, and said, okay, no, that's not going to work. We need to add this. It's the same thing he did with Captain America 4. Remember, Captain America 4 did not originally have the Red Hulk in it. Captain America 4, after going through the rewrites and the getting rid of this and adding this, it wasn't until Kevin Feige went in there, saw what was going on with Captain America 4 and said, nah, we need to add this. Same thing with the Sentry. Sentry was never going to be a part of the film originally. So when we heard that Sentry was going to be a part of the film, and again, your mileage may vary on this, you can feel how you want to feel about this. When Steven Yeun was announced to be Sentry, I was not one of the ones, and again, you can go back and watch any of our videos, I was not one of the ones that was like, oh yeah, and again, it goes to the same things that we've been talking about, and those same themes that we've been having conversations about when it comes to Marvel, and it's the race swapping and things like that. And Steven Yeun is a great actor. I mean, no one's slouching him for that. But Josh over at the Den of Nerds had tweeted today on Twitter and said, I don't remember verbatim what he said, but he said, am I wrong for wanting Sentry to be a big, buff, macho white dude? And I, quote, retweeted it and said, nope, not at all. Because, it goes back to that same conversation we were having originally in the early days of the Fantastic Four joining the MCU, when we were all thinking that Fantastic Four weren't going to be the Caucasian, white, Marvel's first family that we're used to in the comics. And again, regardless if it's a black character, a white character, an Asian character, Hispanic character, race swapping is just lazy. It's lazy. It's not something you have to do, and it's not something that's ever wanted. So for me personally, I was never gun-ho on Steven Yeun being the Sentry. I thought that there were plenty of other actors that would have fit that bill, and things like that. And for those people that would have been introduced to the Sentry in the MCU, for those people that didn't know Sentry prior to the MCU, if you don't read comics or don't know him, from comics or anything like that, Sentry is a super, super, super dope character. I mean, there's so many times during Marvel Comics where Sentry is just an OP level character, and when you're introducing a character like that in Marvel, we all talked about when Sentry was first introduced in the rumor mill. We all said, well, that's exciting, but at the end of the day, it's the MCU. They're going to nerf him. It's not going to be the Sentry like we all know from the comics. I mean, even from the storylines and rumors that we heard that they were going to do with Sentry and Thunderbolts, the Void was going to be a place kind of like the Upside Down. It was going to be a place that they could enter in and out of. It wasn't going to be the massive threat that the Void is to the Sentry, that the Void is not just to the Sentry, but to everyone around the Sentry. So it's that typical Marvel, we're gonna take your characters and we're going to do it our version, and you're not gonna like it, but we don't care type of things. And so again, those were already 3 strikes wrong with me with the Sentry, and at this point, we don't really know what Marvel Studios is going to do with Sentry. For all we know, Sentry could not even be a part of the film at all. I saw so many people on Twitter saying, well, who's going to be the next Sentry? Who are we going to put as Sentry? Let's cast this person. How do we even know that Sentry's even still a part of the film? There are so many things. Remember, Deadpool is the only film coming out in 2024. That gives Marvel and company enough time to rework and rewrite whatever they want to rework and rewrite. Let's also remember, what's his name? Is his name? No, his name I forget brother's name in real life, but John Walker, the actor that plays John Walker, I did not cover this when he said it, but he had done an interview, I want to say maybe about 3 weeks or 2 weeks ago, talking about it's time for Marvel to get good again, and he can't talk about much about the film, but this is going to be a great Marvel film, and I really hope that it is going to be a great Marvel film, because Marvel could use a great film right about now. So is Sentry going to be a part of Thunderbolts? I don't know. This original news is coming from Daniel RPK, and I'm about to get into the last part of this article here, but I just kind of wanted to give a rundown of what we already kind of knew about the Sentry, what we already kind of knew, that Sentry was not going to be a part of that, and thank you for that super chat. I am going to get to that in just a moment. That Sentry was not going to be a part of the film originally, and then later on added, and then now Steven Yeun, having scheduling issues, is not going to be able to continue the role as Sentry. And I, you know, again, the reason I say scheduling issues is because just last night, I think last night I mentioned, or I'm sorry, the night before last night I mentioned how Daniel RPK had just made the tweet that he had seen a video of Steven Yeun trying on the Sentry suit and how badass it looked, and that he thought it was going to be one of the best. Now this is coming from Daniel RPK, and you know how some of these scoopers like to overhype things sometimes. He had said that he thought that that suit was going to be one of the most badass suits we had ever seen in the MCU. So, I mean, I don't know. You go from trying on the suit and from what Daniel RPK was saying and looking extremely excited from trying on the suit. You know, think the video of Tiana Barris trying on the photon suit and dance and things like that. I'm not sure he wasn't dancing and things like that, but from what Daniel said, he looked pretty excited. So going from trying on the suit to exciting to scheduling issues, I feel like you would have known that you had. I don't know. I'm not behind the walls, but again, it just goes to show, you know, it just follows that same trend that Marvel's currently having, and and I hate to say it, but it's just Marvel's fault. Actually, do I hate to say it, or is it just the reality of what it is? It's just Marvel's fault. It's, you know, they ended on a bad note in 2023 with bad news by firing Jonathan Majors, ill-advisedly firing Jonathan Majors, and now coming into this and now losing Steven Yeun, and maybe it's not a big deal. Maybe it's not a big deal for Marvel. Maybe they're thinking, hey, we were going to go a different direction with this anyway. There's so many things that are going to change with the upcoming 2025, 2026, 2027, and whatever. Is it 2028 still for Secret Wars or whatever the fuck films as well? So, but they go on to say here, The Hollywood Reporter announced that Steven Yeun will no longer be starring in the Marvel Studios' upcoming 2025 film Thunderbolts. While his involvement was never officially confirmed by Marvel themselves, his casting was first reported by The Hollywood Reporter back in February of 2023, with it later being revealed that he would be playing the character named Sentry. No reasoning behind the change was given, but it would not be surprising if that cause is rooted in the many delays caused by last year's WGA and the writer strike. And then he goes on to say Thunderbolts will star Florence Pugh, David Arbor, Wyatt Russell, that's the dude's name, Wyatt Russell, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Olga Sebastian Stan, and Io. I don't want to butcher names. But the film is scheduled to release in 2025. So what is next for the Sentry? It goes on to say many are undoubtedly upset by the news as Steven Yeun departs the superpowered franchise without ever having made an appearance. Yeun is a great actor, and losing him is awful no matter the circumstance. Hopefully, this departure is not the result of any ill will between parties. And that's not okay. All right. After all, Thunderbolts is still being written and directed by Beef's Jakes Schreiner, who recently worked closely with Yeun on the streaming service. While there's plenty of speculation that this was caused by delays stemming from the recent strikes, some cannot help but worry that perhaps this happened due to news of actors' roles leaking through Robert Kirkman. The Invincible creator accidentally revealed that his good friend Steven Yeun had just had a costume fitting for the Sentry and Thunderbolts, and that's the video that Daniel RPK was talking about. But now someone will need to pick up the empty yellow suit. Some previous fan favorite choices included Alexander Skarsgård, Ryan Gosling, and Anthony Starr. Hopefully, Marvel Studios will choose to comment in the situation soon. They're not, which could help curb the speculation that already is running rampant. Marvel's not going to comment on it. Marvel's not going to comment on it because Marvel never confirmed in the first place that Sentry was going to be in the film. So if they never confirmed that in the first place, why would they then talk about, you know, speculation and rumors? They're not going to do that. That's just not Marvel. That's the news there for Steven Yeun with the Sentry. I don't know. You may be upset about it. You may not give a damn about it. At the end of the day, we're not going to see Thunderbolts until 2025. I think right now the main focus, as I said in the last stream, is just the road to Deadpool 4 or Deadpool 3, and just waiting to see and hopefully seeing what that is. I actually saw a report that said that Deadpool 3 is going to be basically what No Way Home was for Sony. We've already heard Jeff Snyder saying that it's going to be X-Men filled film, basically, and all those type of things. So, but question is for you guys. Let us know down below what you guys are thinking of the news for the Thunderbolts. Do you think that they recast Sentry? Do you think that they get rid of Sentry altogether and go in a new direction? Or are you, again, on the same fence of, I just simply do not give a damn? Do you think that the Thunderbolts is going to be a film that plays in heavy into the multiversal saga? Do you only care about things in the multiversal saga? Or do you not just care about the MCU right now altogether? Let me know down below in the comments. I'll read what some of you guys are saying. Let's get to that super chat. Josiah, I appreciate that. Too many characters to use, don't need to race swap. And that's very true. So many characters, there's no need to race swap. Let's see what everybody's saying here. But I've got Raymond that said, oh wait, we were already... Oh, he said my Happy New Year. Neri said, that's crazy. Deadpool is the only movie coming out. Yeah, Deadpool's the only movie coming out in 2024. Wyatt Russell is his name. Yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being new to the channel as well. Jordan G said, I low-key love that Deadpool is the only film coming. I do too, honestly. Film coming out this year gives time to adjust, and that is one of my big things with it. It gives Marvel so much time to put all that focus into Deadpool, and which Kevin Feige has already talked about. One of the things, well, the two films I think he said three. The three films that he's majorly focused on, and I'm going to put it at two because I can't remember if he said three or not, but I remember two that he says majorly focused on. That's Deadpool 3 and Captain America 4. He said those are the two films that he is majorly focused on right now. And I really am happy that Deadpool is the only thing coming out in 2024 as well. So like I said, it just gives them time to adjust and course correct and fix a lot of the shit that we're watching. SP Flash said there are now rumors that Spider-Man, Thor, and Doctor Strange won't be in Avengers 5. I don't really... And who are those rumors coming from? Because I don't know if I believe that completely. And the reason I don't... And things are subject to change, as we've just watched. Everything is subject to change. This is the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Everything is subject to change. But from what we know about Secret Wars and Kang Dynasty, and from the rumors from My Time to Shine Hello, Can We Get Some Toast, Daniel Richmond, all those other guys out there, those scoopers, is that our Spider-Man, not just our Spider-Man, I believe Toby Spider-Man as well, but our 616 Tom Holland Spider-Man is supposed to be one of the main characters, one of the leaders of the Avengers teams. And when they say leader, they're not saying like an Iron Man, Captain America type of leader. I forgot how they were wording it. It was a while ago that these rumors came out, but I remember Toby was in there. Wolverine's Hugh Jackman's Wolverine was also listed in that those characters that are going to become somewhat leads. Iron Man was even listed in that. It was RDJ. It's not our Iron Man. It was supposed to be a variant Iron Man, but RDJ's Iron Man was even listed in that when Jeff Snyder and the rest of them were talking about that. So I don't know if that's, again, things are subject to change. It could be, but I think if that is true, that is the biggest recipe for disaster, because and we're going to get to that. I'm going to wait to talk about that more, Josiah, because we're going to get to that, our SP Flash, because the list of heroes currently, that if you were to make an Avengers 5 with the current list, that doesn't sell. Darkstar Menace said, honestly, I'm whatever about the MCU right now, but I'm looking forward to Deadpool 3, and that is exactly how I am with it. I'm whatever about the MCU right now, but the one thing I am really excited for is Deadpool 3. I do want to see Deadpool because it's Ryan Reynolds still. And one of Ryan Reynolds' things, before they even brought Deadpool over to the MCU, was if I come over and if I'm going to do this, it's going to be the way that I did it over at Fox. And Ryan has a lot of control over there, and I really like that. So I'm excited to see what that's going to look like as well. We got Rain Reloaded that said, what do you think of Echo? So I have not watched Echo. Echo doesn't come out until, is it out? Echo's not out yet, is it? Echo comes out, the 5th or 6th? Or it might, if it's out, forgive me. I thought it didn't come out to the 5th or 6th. And me not knowing when it comes out is showing you the obvious lack of care that I have for Echo. I don't... The trailer is dope. I'm going to give credit where credit's due every single time. That trailer is a good trailer. But from what we've heard from people that have seen the show already, the people that got to see the the viewings before we all got to see it, is that I've heard from My Time to Shine Hello that the Daredevil Echo fight is 2 minutes. Somebody else said it was 6, but My Time to Shine Hello said it's a little bit shorter, more like 2 minutes. We've heard that Daredevil it went from 6 episodes to streaming weekly to 6 episodes dropping all at once to 5 episodes dropping all at once to Daredevil being in the 3rd episode to being moved to the 1st episode because of fear of people not tuning in or wanting to wait or whatever the case may have been. It does look gritty. It looks like there's a lot of dope ground level action, which a lot of us are wanting to see. One of the things I am interested in. I didn't read the article, but I saw Screen Rant had posted a video about it. They had interviewed, I think it was Vincent D'Onofrio and I forget Aqua Cox, who plays Echo. I think they did an interview with them. Kingpin owns Avengers Tower, I think, is what they were. That was the title of the video. I haven't watched it or saw anything like that, but that was the title of the video. So, if Kingpin owns Avengers Tower, and that is something that is talked about within the show, that is, it does pique my interest. Does it pique my interest enough to actually tune into all 5 episodes? No. But if the show is good, I don't want to even sit here and lie. I don't want to say if the show is good, I'm going to tune in, because I know I'm not. It has nothing to do with what I'm currently interested in, and that is the multiversal saga. That is the little bit that I'm still interested in, the multiversal saga. So I'm not going to lie, I'm not. What if again, like I said, I watched the Nebula episode. That was just so boring. And then the Quill episode was a little bit more exciting, but still, again, I found myself watching What If and wondering, just again, like I said, talking about the last time, does any of this matter, or is it inconsequential to the multiversal saga, what's going on right now? So no, I don't think about Echo. I don't think I have anything about Echo right now. The only thing I'm interested in right now is Kingpin owning Avengers Tower. That's the only thing I want to know. Is that true? And if so, what are the details on that? That's about it. I've got, let's see, Grand Region 5 that said the scoopers have been all over the place. They really have been. It has been all over the place with the scoops. The Jinx said, a little off topic, what do you think of the Daredevil vs. Echo fight clip? He definitely looks better here. Okay, so there's a clip out. So I haven't seen it. I have not seen it. I didn't know there was a clip out. I'm definitely going to have to check out that clip. I'll check it out with you guys on here. I didn't know it was out. It's on Twitter. If it's on Twitter, if somebody would be kind enough to go to Twitter and tag me in it, that way I can just, when I go to Twitter, I can just click on it. That'd be great. I've got... Okay, it comes out the 9th, is what Rain Reloaded said, the 9th, okay. Connoisseur Triple Salute, appreciate you being here. Darkstar Menace said, there's a fight scene with Echo and Daredevil that got leaked on YouTube. Oh, yeah, the fight scene wasn't that good. Blues House said, what's up, Dares? Appreciate you being here, Blues House. We have to get together soon. Myself, you, Chill, Dre, we need to talk, get together soon. Rain Reloaded said Echo falls under Marvel's banner called Spotlight, which does show the that it's outside of the larger MCU continuity. Yes, and I remember Kevin Feige talking about the Spotlight things, and I'm fine with that. And honestly, some of those spotlights that I'm like, if they, some of the rumored spotlights, if some of those do happen, I'm interested in a lot of those. Echo just does not fall under the interest level for me. And the reason, and I've talked about this a little bit when we talked Hawkeye, I think maybe if she would have been better in Hawkeye, if Hawkeye would have been a better show, obviously, too, but if she would have been better, caught interest better in the Hawkeye show, maybe I would have cared more. And then maybe if the MCU wasn't in the state that the MCU is currently in, I would also care more. Because there was a time where I didn't miss a damn thing in Marvel. Like, if it was homework. It was not homework. I considered it a damn job. It was like, but a job I wanted to do. It wasn't a job that I felt I had to do. It was a job I wanted to do. And now when I scroll through Disney Plus and I'm, seeing the episodes of What If I have not seen, there was a past me that would have been like, okay, no, I have to binge every single one of these right now. But now I'm passing over them like without hesitation, So maybe at one point I did care like that, but for Echo, she doesn't catch my interest right now. Bose said, I'd give that fight an 8 out of 10. It's not a good filter. Professor Bump said, good evening. I'm still watching the rest of that Katt Williams interview. I'm telling you. Katt went off in that. I gotta watch the rest of it too, but Katt went off in that. Norwegian Drag said, what's Shorty's name in the show with Iron Fist and Luke KO? Jessica Jones. Yeah. Okay. So we'll move on here to the next topic. Appreciate you being here, Stamina. We'll move on here to the next topic. Next thing we're going to move to is going to be... Sorry, let me get that up. Okay. Oh, well, yeah, we'll move to Katt. We'll talk about Katt. Okay, so as everybody knows, Katt Williams sat down with Shannon Sharpe on his podcast, and we're not going to go over everything that Katt Williams said, because it is from literally maybe 2 to 3 minutes into the video, Katt takes off, and it's just like going the entire time. And but I don't know, it's really not like a jaw-dropping thing. It was funny, but it's not like, if you know Katt Williams, if you follow Katt Williams, and Katt Williams has always been one of my favorite comedians. If you follow Katt Williams, you know Katt Williams like that. You always know Katt is going to give you that funny, but with that funny, he's going to give you a spoonful of that real, truth, fact, hard, real-life shit. I mean, it's funny. It's kind of like I retweeted this, and this is where I want to take it. This is what I'm talking about here, and it's not a long topic. I'm not going to spend minutes and minutes on this, but whenever it was a little over a year ago now. I want to say it was over a year ago now when Katt Williams did that wherever it was. He talked about the not recasting of T'Challa, and I know everybody has seen that. That video is my most viewed video on my channel. I think it's got a little over 20,000 views, and it was the one of him saying how, Christopher Reeves can fall off a horse, and Superman is fine, and Superman didn't break his legs or neck and that kind of stuff, but T'Challa or Chadwick Boseman gets sick, and then T'Challa dies. We've all seen it. But Katt Williams, again, while saying that, it was funny because we all laughed, but within that funny, there was so much truth in everything that Katt was saying. And if you go and you look at the comments on that video, what Katt was saying went over so many people's heads. So many people were saying, I didn't get what Katt was saying. It was like, no, you don't get what Katt's saying. But the exact same thing is being done here in the video I'm about to show, is where he's talking with Shannon Sharpe here, and Shannon's kind of talking to him about... he brings up the Jonathan Majors allegations and things like that, and being dropped from Marvel and being dropped from everybody else. And then Katt kind of touches on that a little bit. And every time Katt opens his mouth when it comes to some of this shit, it's just the brother's real. So I'm trying to find the exact one where he was talking about him. Hold on, because I have so many different ones liked on here. Oh, no wonder. I gotta find it. Here it is. Here it is, right here. All right.
Marvel dropped him as soon as Wildin' Out recently got canceled. You see Jonathan Majors, what he went through. Marvel dropped him as soon as the conviction came out. And you were telling the
Hey, you saw that black woman come get his charge cut in half? Thank you, Megan Good. God bless you, coming to save that slave. If he'd had to be there by himself, he was getting awful. She came in there, was just so beautiful, they had to knock half of it off. Bless his heart.
So Matt Wright, you know him from Wildin' Out. He gets canceled for see him in Creed. He's in the Marvel movies, and then just like that.
Maybe I'm a conspiracy theory, but I thought Katt Williams said any time they make you into that position, part of that contract is you do understand whenever we want to take you down, we can, right? Part of giving you the world. First of all, they went around the world for 2 years straight telling any women that would listen that this was a good-looking Negro.
Mm-hmm.
Since when? When did y'all start liking a big nose? And when did y'all like a little head and a big jaw? When? Since when? That look like my daddy. When you start liking my daddy? You like black people's features like that? If this ugly nigga is good looking, then all niggas is good looking. Anytime you see them telling you something you can't believe, just understand it's a play. And it don't matter. You gonna know it's a play soon as they get in that position and think they gonna tell somebody something. No, you're not. No, you're not. Marvel will cancel you you won't be allowed to read a comic book. What is you talking about? Get out of here. Get out of here, ugly boy. Yeah, they love fooling the people.
What's your relationship?
Yeah. Again, funny, but real. Everything Katt said is real, you know. When we've talked about that many times sitting here, you know, when we talked about the Jonathan Majors trial. I didn't talk about the Jonathan Majors trial as heavy as, and I implore everybody, if you didn't pay attention or you want to know exactly what's going on in that trial, go over to Chill's channel, go over to Dre's channel. You can watch some of the things that because they covered the entire trial. We covered bits and pieces. I covered what I wanted to cover. I did not cover that entire trial. I covered the surveillance videos and things like that, and I called it a witch hunt, which I still say it's a witch hunt. But listening to Katt say the things that he said, I mean, it's real. It's real. Anytime you get in a position of like that, and we've talked about that. People love. The term I always use is when we step outside of our lane. If you step outside of your lane, you will quickly either get put back into your lane or removed from the highway altogether. And unfortunately, in Jonathan Major's situation, that is what happened. He's removed from the highway altogether. But like I said, what Katt was saying was just simply real. It's fact. It's fact. And now, you know, and I do want to address this too, because there might be some people watching that have said this on Twitter. For the people that are coming at some of us for saying that we would like to, or that Coleman Domingo would be a decent or fine enough replacement for Jonathan Majors in the Kang role. Make no mistake. Just because you are seeing us say that about Coleman Domingo does not mean you must have missed how hard we rode for Jonathan Majors. But what I'm not going to do is rob another brother from a role, even though I'm still upset that what happened with Jonathan Majors. I'm still upset with what happened with Jonathan Majors. Of course, I would like for Jonathan Majors to be Kang the Conqueror. I wrote for Jonathan Majors and said it the whole time that Jonathan Majors was a world-class act, and in my opinion, should have never been let go. It was a witch hunt. But what I'm not going to do is rob Coleman Domingo of something that he's been trying to manifest for the last 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. He's always said I saw another interview outside the one I showed to you guys that he said he wanted to play in a Marvel DC universe as the villain. So why rob that brother of an experience that he could have just because, again, I know we are all upset about that, but it's no different than wanting someone in that role as T'Challa. We don't want the role to quit. Now, granted, it is a little bit different because Kang is not black in the black in the comics, and there's a significance to wanting T'Challa back on the screen. But it's still a black role that they race swapped. But it's still a black role that they have placed as someone of color. And why would we take that away from another person of color? So I'm not going to say some of the hashtags out there, or get behind some of the hashtags out there boycotting Domingo. If anything, boycott Marvel, but you don't boycott Domingo. Domingo didn't do shit. So we'll move to the next thing, and the next thing that we're going to move to is what, for my Star Wars fans out there, this is going to be a kind of quick one too. The most recent conversations when it comes to Star Wars have not been kind. And if you're a Star Wars fan, you know this. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. And for those of you that don't know, I'm a massive Star Wars fan, much more than I am a Marvel or a DC fan. I love those franchises. But when it comes to Star Wars, for me, I don't think anything can compare. And now, that being said, I do have my gripes with Star Wars. Obviously, I don't recognize 7, 8, or 9. The book of Boba Fett was terrible. Looking back on Ahsoka, it had brilliant moments, but overall it's not that memorable. And I loved that show. You remember how I was going hard for that show. I love that show, but it was just like looking back. Mandalorian season 3, bomb. Rogue One has been one of the most successful thing Disney has done with the franchise since owning it, and I guess you could even say season 7 of Clone Wars, since that was under Disney's umbrella as well. But anything outside of that, for me personally, I forgot about it. Sorry, the Obi-Wan show. I hate that show. So I don't. Anytime we talk about Star Wars, it's never in a positive light. And even coming now, talking about it, it's not in a positive light. We know what's coming for 2024 in Star Wars, and I believe it's the Acolyte. I believe it's Skeleton Crew. The Rey movie is going to start shooting in 2024. They are going forward with the Rey movie. They are going forward with episodes 10, 11, and 12. That is something that Disney and Lucasfilm are going forward with. Again, that's just showing you that Lucasfilm does not have their ear to the ground. They are not listening to fans. Kathleen Kennedy is still in charge over there, and I thought she was supposed to be on her way out after D23 like 2 years ago. I don't know what's going on with Kathleen. She's still over there at Lucasfilm, and a lot of it is just not changing. A lot is not changing. But I do want to address the comments being made here about the woman-led Star Wars before we get into what the director has recently, the newest director for the newest Star Wars film has recently said. We're in 2024. Some of these conversations are starting to get a bit prehistoric or outdated, if you will, for lack of better terms. I don't know. And I guess maybe it's just because I am an accepting person. I do accept people for who they are, for what they are, for your religion. As I told you, I am a follower of Christ, but my best friend is atheist. But that has no bearing on our relationship. And I don't care your I don't care your color, I don't care your race, I don't care your creed, I don't care your sexual orientation. None of that has any bearing on how I look at you or our friendship. I look at you or our friendship or our lack of friendship or whatever based off the type of person you are, based off the type of character that you have, based off your beliefs that you have when it comes to certain I won't even say political beliefs, but when it comes to your moral beliefs. That is what I judge people off of. So I believe that we are at a time where, we got to stop this whole women cannot be equal with men and men have to be this macho this or that to be considered a man, and if you're this color then you're a gang member, and if you're this color then you're this or that. Like, it just all like, does it not get exhausting? And I'm not trying to preach or make this a whole thing. I'm just saying some of the conversations around the stuff with Star Wars right now, with the conversations around her, and I don't want to butcher her name, but what the newest director has said, I don't agree with what she said, because Star Wars has been women-led for a long time. I don't know what Star Wars she's watching, which leads me to believe that she's not a Star Wars fan. She doesn't know anything about this space, because if you are saying it's time for Star Wars to be women-led, then, sweetheart, you haven't been watching Star Wars. Was the last saga not all women? Was it not women-led? Was Rey Skywalker not the lead character of the entire third installment to the franchise? So it's like, I don't know. And not only that, if you know Star Wars, there are plenty of badass women in Star Wars. Plenty of badass women in Star Wars. But to get to exactly what her comment was and what she said, if a man would have said this, and again, I'm not trying to make it a whole thing, but if a man would have said this, the shoe would have been on the other foot for sure. It's the way she said it too.
Activating a force for change, but also trying to permeate that patriarchy, that power structure. And is that a part of the calculation of your art as well? And what's been the reaction to that?
Oh, absolutely. I like to make men uncomfortable. I enjoy making men uncomfortable. Not you, just
not you.
Point taken.
But, it is important to be able to look into the eyes of a man and say, I am here, and recognize that. And recognize that I am working to bring something that makes you uncomfortable, and it should make you uncomfortable because you need to change your attitude. And it's only when you're uncomfortable, when you're shifty, when you have to have difficult conversations, that you will perhaps look at yourself in the mirror and not like the reflection, and then say, maybe there is something wrong with the way I think, or maybe there is something wrong with the way I am addressing this issue.
Right. Yeah. So, and again, I don't disagree with her because in ways I don't disagree with her. Like, the whole narrative of, making people feel uncomfortable. That was one of the things that I was saying during the 2020 Black Lives Matter. If you're uncomfortable, you should be. If you're having these conversations and you're uncomfortable, you should be uncomfortable. So maybe she's meaning it in that type of way. I'm not really sure there, but I don't like the way she said at the very beginning because I don't care about outside the movie. However she feels about men or whatever outside, that's fine. That's your prerogative. That's your life. That's outside the movie. I'm worried about what her Star Wars film is now going to look like, saying like I just off some of the comments she made. I just don't want it. I don't like when people take their own personal agendas and force it into franchise movies that where it has no place. It was again like Wakanda Forever, where we've never seen a Marvel film that way. We have never in our lives sat down in the 10 however many fucking years of Marvel films, sat down in our lives and watched a Marvel film like we did in Wakanda Forever. And why was that film different than the rest? Because a personal agenda was inserted. And I feel like when these directors and creators start inserting their own personal agendas into shit, that's what tears franchises and pisses us fans off. I don't disagree with some of the things that she was saying at all. I just don't want that personal agenda to be inserted into the next Star Wars film. And again, Star Wars is in such a weird place. You've got your different generations where you've got, the older generation is just stuck on the originals. You've got my generation. Some of us love the prequels. Some of us hate the prequels. I love the prequels. I love the originals. And then you've got but here's the thing too, with Star Wars, with that new generation, can you really say there's a new generation of Star Wars fans? I really don't think you can. I personally do not. I do not see a new generation of, like, who are these new, who's appealing, who are these new characters appealing to? I don't see, like, from Halloween, I didn't see children dressing up as old Star Wars characters, sure. People dressing up as Rey or Snoke or any of the others. It's just not the same Star Wars. So there's just got to be a shift, a change, and I don't want that to be the shift or change to be inserting personal agendas into it. So, but let's see what you guys had to say there on some of that. Constant Triple Salute said feminism, D-Stizzle with the dots. The first Star Wars statement of 2024. Stamina MC said, I get it, kind of tactless though. And then we've got SB Flash that said, does she even know that the Acolyte is coming out this year? I mean, that's the thing too. Does she know that? That is a female-led show. The show is going to be about twin sisters. One's pulled to the dark side, one's pulled to the light side. Even the master is a female. And no one has a problem with that. Asajj Ventress is one of my favorite fucking characters in Star Wars when it comes to someone, not just her, Bastila. If you want to get real and kind of get into some of that deeper lore, like, come on, bro. Like, there are some badass women in Star Wars. It ain't got shit to do with a woman. I feel like I'm so done having that conversation, having to explain it has shit to do with any of that. It doesn't have anything to do with that. It doesn't. If you know this stuff, there's dope fucking female Marvel characters, dope DC characters, dope Star Wars characters. There are dope female characters all around. That ain't got shit to do with it, bro. That's just not it. It's not it. We've got Official MG say I agree with her, and hey, like I said, there were points on her that she made that I agreed with too. Like when she was saying, "I want to make you feel uncomfortable about certain situations." I mean, and I feel like in certain situations, yes, like I compared it to the Black Lives Matter deal, making people have those tough conversations, making people have, you know, or step outside their comfort zone, even in the workplace or whatever. So I mean, there are things I agree with her about, but there were some, again, I just don't want that. Keep that shit at home. That's fine that you feel that way, but don't take that shit to work when you're making the fucking movie, because then that's what you're going to be centering it about. You're going to be thinking your whole time, I want to make men uncomfortable. When they sit down in Star Wars and watch this next Star Wars film, because her words were, it needs to be a women-led Star Wars movie, or it's time for women to lead the galaxy, then that just screams agenda attached. Connoisseur Triple Salute said, coming from somebody who probably never holds herself accountable for anything, don't know her personally, so I don't know. D-Stizzle said, The Force Awakens to now must have been an alternate universe. I guess. That's what I'm saying. I guess. That's what, like, bro, she obviously does not know Star Wars. And you want to I'll give you another example of a perfect example of no one has a problem with women in Star Wars. Patty motherfucking Jenkins. I'll leave it right there. Patty motherfucking Jenkins. Patty Jenkins sat down at, what was it? Star Wars Celebration? I'll never forget that. Star Wars Celebration, when they announced Rogue Squadron, Patty Jenkins sat down there, talked about her dad and how he's a pilot and how this movie is so sentimental to her. She even teared up. And how she talked about how her love for Star Wars and her dad growing up, you know, showing her Star Wars and things like that. She was a Star Wars fan from little to now. We watched Patty Jenkins become, you know, and she even made a comment in an interview where they compared her, saying, you know, the brilliant women or female director Patty Jenkins, and she said, why do I have to be the female director Patty Jenkins? Why can't I not just be Patty Jenkins? And I agree with all of that. She's just a perfect example, because she would have taken Rogue Squadron because she cared. She cared about it. What she was going to put in it was her father's love of flight, her father's love of Star Wars, her father showing her Star Wars and showing her the love of flight, and her falling in love with flight and falling in love with Star Wars, and incorporating that love into Rogue Squadron. That's a perfect example of what there's it has nothing to do with anybody being a female. Nothing like that. It's just, do you care about the fucking project you're talking about? Do you care? Are you going to pour into the project and actually give a damn about the project, or are you just going on it with your own hidden agenda? And like D-Stizzle said, Rogue Squadron the game, that was dope. Bastila, yep, all of them, dope. Some of the dopest Star Wars characters. The Jinx said, nothing about her strikes me as good fit for a $1 billion franchise. She never worked in a genre in this genre before. I feel it's more of a platform for her beliefs than about that's again. That's perfectly put, to Jinx. That's how I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm trying to say right there, is that it feels like it's more of a platform for her to voice what she just said, and now she gets to do it with a budget of whatever this $1 billion Star Wars film is going to be. And I don't know, we haven't seen it yet. We all could be wrong. We could be reading too much into it. I just hope not. Star Wars is not in a good place, and I don't think that Star Wars, like Marvel, cannot afford to continue to fail. It can't. I've just rewatched. Was going through, didn't want to watch anything Marvel, didn't really want to watch anything Star Wars, but I was like, I'll watch episode 5, because there's nothing, right? There's just nothing. It's not the same. Let's see. We've got Gray that said, blockbuster films have one job description: to pull in as many audience members as possible. That's it. That is it. Josiah Allen said, that's the world we live in. Crazy thing is, people act like these aren't pre-existing characters. Right. These characters have had life long before you. That's why I don't like when people come in and like, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, don't get me wrong. Well, actually, no, you can get me wrong. I don't care on that. I hate the fact that Obi-Wan went to save Leia. It breaks canon. I don't care. You can call me a fanboy. You can say what. It breaks canon. From what we knew, Obi-Wan never left Tatooine because he never left looking over Luke. And something else that breaks canon. If you go back and you watch that episode where Reva is at the Lars homestead, Luke sees the lightsaber. He sees it. He's running, but he sees it. So then what you're then telling me is that in episode 4, when he meets old Ben, Obi-Wan, for the first time, and he sees a lightsaber again, because you're not gonna forget that. You're not gonna forget a glowing fucking stick coming at you as a child. You're not gonna forget that. So when he sees a lightsaber for the first time in New Hope, and he puts it up to his eye, it just doesn't It breaks a lot of shit. She never should have left. She never should have left. And if you go back and you even watch episode 4, me and producer Henry were talking about this the other day. Episode 4, when she says, years ago you served my father in the Clone Wars. That's all she knew. She didn't know Ben. All she knew was years ago you helped my father in the Clone Wars. Blah, 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 blah. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. I don't like that. I don't like the fact that he fought Vader again. I don't. I have a lot of gripes with it all. I do want to show y'all something. I don't know if everybody's seen this before we get to SP Flash said he hated it too. Yeah. Hold on. Dorian said, so many great Star Wars characters are women. I don't understand this whole thing of Star Wars being a patriotic. Yeah, it's not. That's what I'm saying. If you know Star Wars, you know that. Thank you, Dorian. If you know Star Wars, you know how many dope female characters there are. Like D Sizzle said, Adi Gallia, you got Ahsoka, Ayla Secura, it goes on. And one of my favorites, and she became one of my favorites after I read the comic with her, the Dark Horse comic with her. It's Kanan Jarrus's comic. It's that whole issue, all those issues spanning over Kanan's point of view from Order 66, which is fucking dope. But it starts way before Order 66. It starts when he becomes Depa Billabba's apprentice, and Depa Billabba is one of my. She instantly from that comic series, I didn't give a hoot about Billabba, but after I read that comic series, she became one of my favorite Jedi. That series is dope. If you don't know anything about Depa Billabba and you're into Star Wars and you want to know about Kanan Jarrus's story, his view of Order 66 and what he saw, how he had to escape, go listen to that Dark Horse comic. It's dope. It's dope. There are several times where Billabba and Kanan and their clone company are on the brink of death, because she's being hunted by Grievous. And that's something, too, that is so fleshed out in those comics. Grievous. Where Grievous is... Think Grievous from the micro-series 05 Clone Wars and insert that into the comics. That's how Grievous is, and that's how Grievous is supposed to be. Grievous is hunting her. Grievous almost killed her 2 times in that comic. The first time, he put her in a bacta tank. The second time, she damn near, she was about to die. She got rescued by the clones and everything, and Kanan. And then the third time he had her, it was her and Kanan, and she was telling Kanan to run, bro. It's so good. It's so good. And then she ends up ultimately dying from Order 66 when the clones turn on them. And I love how the comic tells it too, because one minute they're all sitting around the campfire and they had just finished a battle. They're sitting around the campfire. They're talking about all this stuff, and it's Billabba sitting there with them, and Kanan's getting teased by him because he's young. He's a Padawan at this time. He's young and they're older. And there's a younger clone that had just joined that platoon, and he had become good friends with Kanan because he was an apprentice and he was also a rookie clone, so they had just become good friends. So when he turns on Kanan, and when the General Gray, what's his name, is it Gray, I can't remember his name, when he turns on Billabba and they gun them down, bro, that is some peak. That's Star Wars. That's some peak Star Wars. That's some good shit. But when you turn on Disney Plus and you're watching Obi-Wan throw rocks at Vader, I'm just like, or run from Vader and Vader trying to set Obi-Wan on fire. I think the coolest thing in that series for me was when Vader, and the only cool thing in that series for me was when Vader showed up in that village, snapped that little kid's neck, because I thought I was like, whoa, that was a big move for Disney, but snapped that kid's neck, was killing all those people trying to get Obi-Wan to come out. That was dope. Because that showed that, I mean, that was Vader. That's, I mean, by any means necessary. Vader didn't give a fuck. Vader didn't give a fuck about you. Vader didn't give a fuck about the Emperor. Vader didn't give a fuck. Vader didn't give a fuck about himself. Vader does not give a fuck. So that whole scene, that sequence, that was great. That was great. More of that would be great. But I encourage you, if you haven't listened to any of those Dark Horse comics, those are great. Go pay attention to those. But this right here, I did want to show this because I didn't get to. Yes, she was the apprentice of Master Windu. Thank you for that, Destizzle. Depa Balaba was the apprentice of Master Windu. Thank you for that, Falcon. Love from Canada. I appreciate all the love from Canada. Love back to you guys. Thank you for that. I do want to show this, though. I did not get to show this. I don't know if everybody has seen this or not, but I saw it already, and I was like, damn, I should have reacted to this with you guys, but I'm still going to watch it again. I've only seen it once, so me seeing it this time is going to be like the first time. Did you guys see the Clone Wars animated episode 3 fight between Obi-Wan and Anakin? That shit is fire. I'm going to put that on for those that maybe have not. You guys tell me what you think. This first scene, I'm sure a lot of people already know. This first scene, this is a unused scene from the Clone Wars series that never got put in.
You can't take responsibility for Ahsoka's decision.
I know, I was thinking that same thing. I don't know.
How would you feel if I
would
turned
get
into a
struck
major
for this,
disappointment?
though. I might.
It's
I don't
not the
think I
same.
would.
It's precisely the same.
Sorry, hold on, y'all.
You took me under your wing and practically raised me.
I'm your Padawan, just like Ahsoka was mine. How well would you sleep knowing I failed you?
I shouldn't get struck, though.
Not very
I was
well.
watching a lot of other people react to it. Shit, I shouldn't
Luckily,
get struck.
that isn't true. And never will be.
Yeah, no, this right here, it's dope. I honestly wouldn't mind seeing other Star Wars battles animated like this.
Republic, to democracy!
If you're not with me,
Then you're my enemy!
Only a Sith deals in absolutes. I will do what I must.
You will try.
That shit's fucking Vader, episode 5 Vader, animated. I even want to see all Qui-Gon Obi-Wan animated like this. I want to see Yoda and the Emperor animated like this. I want to see some of these old like this is good. Like that and shit. That's not in the movie.
It doesn't have to end like this, Anakin.
The Empire will thrive under my rule.
Yeah, I know.
But you won't be allowed to see it.
It's good. I mean, the second battle of Yeun show to me is so much better than the first one. That the second battle is stuff. Yachty Mundi learned that out. You know, in the book, in the novelization, well, in the novelization, and they were going to put it in the movie, during episode 2, during the Clone Wars, while we're on top of Geonosis, we're watching everything on top of Geonosis going on, there were clones in the catacombs of Geonosis going through looking for the Geonosis. What they didn't know is Grievous was in the catacombs. This was Grievous before he had gotten his lungs crushed by Windows. He was down there fucking clones up. Said was Grievous was in the catacombs of episode 2 and during the Battle of Geonosis. It's in the novelization. They were going to put it in the movie. George Lucas talked about it. They were going to put it in the movie, but they didn't put it in the movie. So while there were clones on top of, in the main battlefield of Geonosis, there were clones in the catacombs of Geonosis killing some of the Geonosis. What they didn't know was Grievous was down there. This was obviously Grievous before getting his lungs crushed by Windu Coruscant. So he was fucking clones up. Stuff, stamina. I wish it was a deleted scene if that's what you're talking about. No, it's in the novelization, and they were going to put it in the movie. George just talked about it. He didn't. They never filmed anything. I wish it was a deleted scene. Man, I think about that a lot every time I watch Clone Wars. Every time I watch Clone Wars, I think about that grand the fact that Maul and Anakin never met. The only time Maul ever came close to Anakin was in Episode 1. When he damn near ran him over. But that's crazy that they never met.
I have failed you, Anakin. I have failed you.
I should have known the Jedi were plotting to take over.
Anakin, Chancellor Palpatine is evil.
From my point of view, the Jedi are evil.
Well, then you are lost.
you, my master.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!
You underestimate my power!
Don't try it!
I really should. This is good.
You were the chosen one! It was said that you would destroy this Sith, not join them! Bring balance to the Force! Not leave it in darkness!
I hate you!
You were my brother, Anakin!
Blue said it cracks. That scene cracks it. Well, you know, he could have taken Anakin as a prisoner at that moment, Dorian, but, you know, who was on the Jedi side at that time? They were being, you know, again, I just wish this was more fleshed out in the movies, but in the novelization, even in the comics, you see, after all the Jedi are hunted down and everything like that, the Emperor holds like it's Masamida, the Emperor, and they're all like outside of the capital, They're all outside of the Jedi Temple, and they're holding up Masamida. There's a scene in there of Masamida holding up Yoda's lightsaber and saying, you know, this is Master Yoda's lightsaber. You know, they're saying how they killed all the Jedi, and people are cheering and chanting. So at that point, I don't know if he had a place to imprison him, because it's like, who was on their side? Who could he have trusted? A lot of different things. Yeah, you've seen that. Yeah, there are some dialogue points in Revenge that have y'all seen that one? I gotta show y'all this one. This one picture. This shit is.
Obi-Wan. There's got a name. I know.
Hold on.
I know there's still.
Okay. Yeah, bravo to them. I want to show y'all this though, before we move to the Avengers team, and then that'll be it. But I want to show y'all this picture, because these still made me think about that when he said he was ready to that he was ready to get Windu for not granting him the rank of master. Hold on. Let me show this picture. Check out this picture. It's so funny. Okay. Look at this shit. So, it starts with... This is that episode from Clone Wars where the cadets come. They come in. D-Stizzle knows what I'm talking about. The cadets, they come, they're getting taught it. Anakin says, today you get to see how a real Jedi cruiser operates, and you have the chance to serve alongside 2 Jedi Knights. That is so funny. That shit is so funny. Me and Henry, when I showed Henry this, we were dying. That shit is so funny. He said 2 Jedi Knights. If you're a Star Wars fan, you get it. That is funny. That's funny. Okay, we're gonna move to the next and last here. The next and last topic that we're going to move to is just going to be what Alex Perez posted. So Alex Perez posted on his Twitter, because he was asked by someone, what is the next Avengers team going to look like? And for anybody that, asks these scoopers questions like that, thinking that, they obviously know what the next Avengers team is going to look, that's subject to change. I don't even think Marvel themselves really know what the next Avengers team is going to look like. But this is what Alex Perez came up with. And people have taken this picture, ran with it, and have been like, oh my God, this can't be the team. But let's hypothetically speaking, let's say that maybe this is the team. So let's go ahead and let's look. Alex Perez posted that the team for Avengers 5 would be Cap. Sam Wilson's Cap. Carol. Flannel wearing, taco handing out Hulk. Valkyrie. The Sorcerer Supreme Wong. Ant-Man. The Wasp. What was her name? What's her name? Her, the girl that killed the... I just watched Shang-Chi, damn it. She killed it, and she shouldn't have. Shang-Chi? Okay, yeah, for sure. Where the fuck's he been? Haven't seen him since 2019. 2020, whenever that was. 21. 20. When did that shit come out? And then She-Hulk. That's the Avengers 5 roster that Alex Perez came up with. And now let's hypothetically speak and say that this is the Avengers roster team that Marvel puts out. I'm telling you right now, if this is the team, and I've seen people saying, like, where's Shuri? Where's this person? Where's Doctor Strange? If this is the roster that Marvel puts out, again, I don't, in my wildest of wild, I don't believe Marvel's that dense. I don't believe that they would ever put out I don't. And if they do that, if Marvel did this and they've looked themselves in the mirror and said, okay, we're done, because like this just screams done. But that does not, I don't believe this is their roster. But if this was their roster, this wouldn't sell. This would be the end of all end. This would be how this would be how Marvel dies. Because it would be like, no, again, let's can we go through it really quick? Let's go through one by one, just really quick. Sam, Marvel's not, I cared about him. That would be a lie if I said that, because I didn't care about him when he was Falcon. It's Anthony Mackie for me. Everybody knows that. If you've been here, if you've watched my channel, you know it's not Falcon. It's Anthony Mackie for me. I do not think Anthony Mackie's a great actor. He's not made me care about Falcon. But I cared about him more as Falcon than I do as Sam. And the reason I don't know or care about him as Sam is I haven't seen him do anything as Sam. Only thing I've seen him do as Sam, only thing I've seen him do as Cap Sam is not be able to get a bank loan, get stopped by the police in the street when arguing with Bucky, got his ass kicked by that girl, that little teenage girl, got a new suit, gave a speech on the news, saved the United Nations. Was that who that was? And we haven't seen him since. Oh. And I guess were they able to afford, were him and his sister and his nephews able to afford the boat at the end of Falcon number? I don't remember. Was it a boat or was it a house? I don't remember. I just remember he was poor and he didn't have the money to do it. So I don't remember much about Sam Wilson as Cap, nor do I care about Sam Wilson as Cap, because again, Marvel has not done a good job of making me care about Sam Wilson as Cap. Moving on. Let's go down first before we go over. I feel like let's not hit a double whammy with a double whammy. Scott Lang, Ant-Man. I don't dislike Ant-Man. I don't dislike Paul Rudd in the role as Scott Lang. He's not the Scott Lang of the comics, but, you know, a lot of the characters in the MCU are not the characters of the comics. But I still like Paul Rudd in the role. I don't want to say I wouldn't. Obviously, I want Paul Rudd there. I think Ant-Man should be there. Ant-Man has already faced Kang. He's one of the only Avengers outside of Loki. Well, Loki's not an Avenger, but who faced Kang. So, you know, I think he should be there. But Quantumania left a very bad taste in my mouth. Not any part of Paul Rudd was bad for me. I didn't dislike anything that Paul Rudd was doing in the film. I thought he did a fine job as an actor. He was only doing what he had to do, you know, what was written. But Quantumania was ass. It was a terrible film. But other than that, that's just the most recent thing I remember of Ant-Man is Quantumania. So, I mean, but I don't have a nay against him being there, and I'm not like, you know, he's got to be there, because I mean, you know, as I've said many times in the MCU, when in the MCU has anyone ever said, "Oh my God, the world is at stake, we better call Ant-Man"? No one. No one's ever said that. So for me, it's just like, I mean, I don't have a nay against him being there though. Now, Carol, Brie Larson, Carol Danvers. I don't. As I've said many times about Carol, let me start it this way about Brie. I have no problem with Brie Larson being Carol Danvers. I think Marvel has done a major disservice to Brie Larson as Carol Danvers. They're trying to make her the darling of the MCU, trying to make Carol this likable, lovable character that everybody loves. Well, newsflash, Marvel, I don't know if you picked up a Marvel comic in the past 20, 30 years or whatever, Carol sometimes is a fucking bitch. She's a bitch. Sometimes Carol doesn't give a fuck if you like her or if you don't like her. And that's just who Carol is. Carol's going to do what Carol needs to do by any means necessary. That's who Carol Danvers is. And, you know, this whole trying to make her the darling of the MCU and doing her this disservice, having her still have the PTSD that she was dealing with from the $1 billion film that Captain Marvel garnished in for Marvel. It's lazy. It's lazy. It does a disservice to her. It doesn't put Brie Larson. It doesn't set Brie Larson up for success. I've said many times on this channel that there are many comic issues that you could take where Captain Marvel is dope, and take those comic stories and insert those onto screen. If you want to make audience, fans, or whatever care about Captain Marvel in the MCU. You know, last thing I talked about when we talked about Captain Marvel was some of the rumors we heard about Spider-Man 4 and how it was supposed to be Civil War Part 2, and we were kind of hypothetically just theorizing, like, what side would Carol possibly be on? You know, would she be? And it just took me to that Dark Avenger. I would see her as like one of the Dark Avenger type, like, and that shit's dope. That type of shit with Carol, that is fire. That's what we want to see. I don't want to see Carol hanging out with the Flurkins all the time. I don't want to see Carol fucking still dealing with the Skrulls. I don't want to see Carol still dealing with the Supreme Intelligence in her nightmares and dreams. Like, what the fuck? no, that's so no one. I like Captain Marvel, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I don't, or pretend like I hate Brie, because I don't. When Infinity War, when that post-credit scene came, and I was watching Infinity War with a cousin of mine that had never paid attention to Marvel like that, but got interested due to me being interested. When Sam dropped the beeper, he was like, "Who's that?" And I was like, "Bro, that's Captain Marvel. Shit's about to get real." It's the MCU. So, but Carol obviously needs to be there, but she needs to have some shine. She needs to be doing more than Danvers. We could use an assist here. Like, that's all she did in Endgame. Danvers, we could use an assist. She blew up Thanos' ship, came down there. Thanos hit her once, and she didn't budge. That shit was cool, yay. But can we get those dope ass moments where it's a whole Carol film and not just like, or not? It doesn't have to be a whole Carol film, but give her some gravitas in this next film. Like, make her one of the main characters. To me, you're still doing Brie Larson a disservice by making Tobey Maguire and Hugh Jackman one of the leads and not making Brie Larson one of the leads of Avengers 5. My opinion. I just don't think. I think that's still doing her a disservice. These dudes are not even they're a part of the overall Marvel legacy, of course. Tobey Maguire is a part of that Marvel legacy. Hugh Jackman, damn sure, is a part of that Marvel legacy. But when it comes to that MCU legacy, again, those are just my thoughts. But moving down, Wasp doesn't have to be there for me. I could give a shit. When Thanos flicked the shit out of her in Kang flicked the shit out of her in Quantumania. I don't have to have Wasp there, but obviously for me, Wasp, in my opinion, Wasp and Ant-Man are like a package deal. So Awkwafina, that's the girl's name in real life. So I could care less one way or another. If Hulk is going to be handing out tacos and a flannel, keep him at home. Keep him at home with Scar. Him and Scar can talk about that flannel wearing shit, and they can talk about why Scar's hairline is so far pushed back. But this him being there, if he's talking like, in complete ass sentences and time travel, I don't care. I don't want that. If that's the Hulk, then keep that Hulk somewhere else. Awkwafina, I'm not even going to touch that. Not sure why she's on this list. Not sure. I don't know if that's, again, to me, her being on this list should have just showed people that have been running with this picture that Alex literally just pulled some shit out of his ass. I like Alex a lot. I do. I think Alex is great. I think that I think he does a lot of good stuff over there at Cosmic Circus and some of his scoops. But Valkyrie, I'm sure she'll be there in some capacity. I mean, she is the leader of New Asgard now. Thor is no longer, the leader of Asgard, and so I'm sure she'll be there in some capacity. We did see her literally just show up in the Marvels and take the scrolls, and we don't know where that's going to lead. I mean, it could be another MCU plot hole that goes nowhere, but we don't really know. But I do think she could show up in some capacity. Shang-Chi's got to be there, in my opinion. Shang-Chi's got to be there, in my opinion. From those earlier rumors on was that Shang-Chi was going to be one of the leaders of the new Avengers team. It was going to be him, Sam Wilson's Cap, and Shuri. So that was who it was supposed to be. Some of the new leaders of the new leaders of the MCU, the Avengers. So to me, Shang-Chi's got to be there. I don't know why we haven't seen or at least heard something from Shang-Chi since then. Seemingly was not recently, but interviewed. I want to say maybe the top of this year, middle of this year. But he was interviewed, or I'm not interviewed, but he was on the red carpet. Anyway, he was asked about Shang-Chi 2. He said, "When you know, I'll know, because I don't know anything about it." Blah 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 blah. So I don't know. I don't know, but we'll see where it goes down with Shang-Chi. But to me, he's got to be there. Wong, I mean, Wong is the Sorcerer Supreme at this moment. We don't know what's going on with Doctor Strange, other than that he is helping Clea fix an incursion that he caused with his now third eye. So we don't really know. I kind of feel for Wong the way I feel, and I'm not saying I feel about the character the way I feel about Wasp's character like that, but I mean, if he's there, he's there. If he's not, he's not. Jennifer Walters, She-Hulk. I disliked the show. I don't dislike She-Hulk. I disliked that show. That show was awful, but the character of She-Hulk, when done correctly, I mean, let's take, which comic was that? Help me out here. I'm trying to remember. Was it House of M? No, it wasn't House of M. It wasn't House of M. It was the events before or after House of M, where Wanda put that manipulated She-Hulk, and She-Hulk started terrorizing. You know, I think the Avengers had to take She-Hulk down like that. There's other dope comics with She-Hulk, but which comic is that? Somebody help me out. I don't remember which one that is. Is that Dark Avengers? Which one is that? I don't remember. But like stuff like that with She-Hulk. She-Hulk's dope. Like, she's dope. That show just sucked. That show's ass. I like She-Hulk personally. I do. When she's done dope and cool, I really like She-Hulk. Disassembled. Thank you, Greg. Yes, it was Disassembled. Avengers Disassembled. Yes. Great moment there. I really like that. So I like She-Hulk. I don't dislike her. I would think she'd be there, so I wouldn't mind her being there. I just think she needs better writing, and maybe she'll be all right. But are there names? You know, obviously we know that Doctor Strange is still out there. We know that Blade is still out there. We know that the Eternals are out there. All these people are going to be a part of Secret Wars and things like that. So we'll just have to wait to see what the Avengers team is going to look like. We'll have to wait to see what all of this is going to look like. Like I said, right now the main focus is Deadpool. Avengers 5 is like 2027. So at this point, it's kind of irrelevant. I mean, yeah, we're going to talk about it, but it is kind of irrelevant because it's like, that's 2027, my guy. It is 2024, day 3. So we got a long time till 2027. Spider-Man 4 just got pushed back to 2026. 2025 is when Thunderbolts and I think Agatha and all that other stuff comes out. But we got a minute. We got a cool ass minute. Before we get to that. So yeah. But like I told you guys at the top of the hour, I still stayed longer than anticipated. But I said I was going to be here for a long time, but I'd be here for a good time. I did have some other things I have to get to tonight. But I didn't want to jump on here and talk with all of you guys. So I think I'm going to try this from now on. So look at streams probably being around about 5:45, 5:30 Central Standard Time instead of that later 7:30 time for me. Since I'm working out in the mornings now, like I've been doing, but starting back that routine of working out in the mornings now, getting that out of the way. As soon as I get off work, I can just come in here because I already have my notes and everything I'm going to do for the show that day. So just come in here, knock it out at 5:45, then go from there. A couple of things I do want to just say here. I know I brought it up. Oh, Epstein's list is out. Okay. Raymond, if you wouldn't mind Instagramming that link to me, please, wherever you saw that, or on Twitter. I would like to see that myself as well. Also, top little thing here. I know I've said this before. The Patreon is coming. One of the things on the Patreon is one of the things I'm about to start, or I've kind of about to start recording, and I'm going to put it on the Patreon so you guys can see. I'm going to put it on the Patreon, and I'm going to put it on the regular YouTube. I was going to do it live. I was going to do it not live. I can't do it live. I had talked about doing it live at one point, but then, obviously the copyright strikes and stuff, blah, blah, can't do it. But I am doing the Avengers, which one is it you guys have been wanting me to watch? The Mighty Avengers, or this is the cartoon where they fight Kang. So expect to see that reaction out soon, so you guys can watch that. And that'll be out as well. Also, I wanted to ask you guys if you were interested when the Patreon is up for people that might join the Patreon. If you're interested, Earth's Mightiest Heroes. That's it, Stamina. That's the one. The animated where they fight Kang. So that's the one I'm going to be looking for that reaction here soon. Also, if for people that are interested, I have a version of episode 3 of Clone Wars episode 3 that is infused with season 7, certain episodes of season 7 of the Clone Wars, those last 3 or 4 episodes of season 7 of Clone Wars. So it goes back and forth from animated to live action, but it's so dope because you know how in the Clone Wars animated series, in season 7, how they took exact scenes from Revenge of the Sith and just animated them. It'll like that scene where where Grievous has been, or Obi-Wan had just engaged Grievous, and it's Ki-Adi Mundi, Mace Windu, Yoda, Ayla Secure, and they're all standing, and I think Cody. They're all standing around the little holograph system there, and he's like, if he's not to give up his emergency powers, then he must be removed from office. Yeah, with that scene, it transitions that scene from animated 1 minute looking at Windu, then from Windu's perspective, it's back to live act. It's so dope. I have I forgot the dude that made that and gave it to me, but it is a very cool version. I think it's the only way, in my opinion, to watch episode 3. Now having Ahsoka a part of it, so it is really cool. So I'm going to, if anybody's interested and you want to be a part of the I sense a plot to destroy the Jedi, that scene, if anybody's interested, I'm going to do that, watch that with everybody on the Patreon. I think that'd be a fun time for Star Wars fans and things. So let me see here. Omega said Ultimate Spider-Man including the web series of Marvel. I can do that too. Avengers Assemble series, really good. They really underrated. Yeah, I'll do those. Like I said, a lot of that stuff is about to come out. I'm kind of back, as you guys can see. This has been somewhat consistent with the streams. I'm back on my shit. I'm back. I'm gonna kind of be back here with the streams and the videos, the edited videos and things like that. The clipped videos. I mean, I thank everybody for the views on the Black Panther video. It's been up, I think, a little over 24 hours. It got over 1,000 views, over 100 likes, and over 100 likes and some comments there. So it's love. Thank you so much for that. So again, I'm going to be more consistent with the uploads, more consistent with the lives. Like I said, I'm back home, so and I don't want to hear, oh yeah, right, because I hear Raymond. I know Raymond. No. Don't say that. And Cornelius, even though he might, I don't know if Cornelius is in here or not, but I've been more consistent. So I'm back. So y'all just be looking for all that stuff, like I said. But I'll be back tomorrow. I'm back with you guys tomorrow. And I'm going to put this out there too. I know I said, we'll be streaming daily and things like that. If it's a slow news day and until I get my converter to where I'm able to play the game live with you guys and just talk nerdy shit while I'm playing the game with y'all, shut up, Raymond. Then if it's a slow news day, I more than likely won't be on that day until I get the converter. But other than that, I will be here. So again, appreciate you guys being here. D Sizzle said Wolverine and the X-Men was only one season, ending on a massive cliffhanger, like Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Damn, Earth's Mightiest Heroes ends on a cliffhanger. Hoogie Wood said tuned in late, didn't talk about the Aldous article. I talked about the Aldous article a couple Raymond said nobody's supposed to be shut but my mother. I talked about the Aldous article not last night but the night before. It's clipped, Pookie, so if you want to go watch that, it's on the channel, on the main page on the channel. You can go watch that video. It is clipped what I had to say. But I appreciate everybody being here tonight. Thank you for all the engagement. Thank you for the super chat that came from Josiah. But that is much love. I appreciate that from you. I appreciate everybody on their engagement, everybody hanging out tonight, and just kicking it. So I will be back with you guys likely tomorrow on the news, and we will go from there. So like, subscribe, and we did get a lot of new subscribers, so I do appreciate it. If you are one of the new subscribers and you are watching currently, thank you so much for that subscription. If you are watching right now and you haven't decided if you want to subscribe, this is your chance. Go ahead and subscribe. Hit that like button, hit that subscription button, like, subscribe, share all these videos with your friends. Love you guys so very much, and I will see all of you guys in the next video. Everybody take care, peace out, and like I said, possibly I will be seeing you guys all tomorrow. Peace out.
Soundstripe.